upgrading, which helped me realize iPhone releases just aren't exciting anymore. I mean, over a decade ago, there would be people in my class speculating about what the next model might be like, and when it was announced, people would kinda lose their minds over the new features or new.
November 2024. The iPhone 16 has been on the market for 2 months. Apple should be celebrating record sales. Instead, they're facing something they've never experienced before: mass buyer's remorse. Return rates for the iPhone 16 Pro hit 18% in the first 30 days. That's triple the normal rate. Customer satisfaction scores dropped to 71%, down from 89% for the iPhone 15. And online forums are exploding with people calling the iPhone 16 their biggest tech regret of the year. The promise that completely failed.
I'm not the only one.
You see that curvature? That's not normal. What's stranger?
This flashlight is giving me so much shadow because it is so far away from the camera.
Already a chip on the aluminum, and this is a phone that has never been dropped. I genuinely do not know.
Today, we're raising the bar once again with an all-new iPhone lineup that's unlike.
Apple marketed the iPhone 16 around one feature: Apple Intelligence, their AI system that would revolutionize how you use your phone. Siri would finally be useful. Photos would organize themselves perfectly. Messages would write themselves. The marketing made it sound incredible, revolutionary, the next big leap in smartphone technology. Except when people bought the phone, Apple Intelligence wasn't even available. Wouldn't be for months. The feature Apple spent 90% of their marketing budget promoting didn't exist at launch. Users paid $1,000 to $1,200 for a phone based on capabilities they couldn't actually use. Sarah bought an iPhone 16 Pro on launch day, spent $1,199. She specifically upgraded because of the AI features Apple promised: smart photo editing, intelligent message suggestions, Siri that actually understands context. The commercials made it look amazing. She got the phone home, set it up, looked for the AI features. They weren't there. Just a message saying, Apple Intelligence coming in iOS 18.2. That update wouldn't arrive until December, 3 months after she bought the phone. She felt scammed, paid premium price for features that didn't exist, returned the phone within a week, got her iPhone 14 Pro back from her drawer. It did everything the iPhone 16 did, because the AI features she paid for weren't even available yet. She's not alone. Thousands of people had the exact same experience. The hardware that barely changed. But missing software is only part of the problem. The hardware itself is barely different from the iPhone 15. Same design, same screen size, slightly faster processor that makes zero noticeable difference in real-world use. Camera improvements so minor, you need to look at photos side by side to maybe see a difference. Tech YouTubers did blind tests, showed people photos from iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone 16 Pro, asked them to identify which was which. People couldn't tell. The camera improvements Apple spent millions marketing are essentially invisible to normal users. Not photographers, not tech reviewers. Normal people can't see the difference. Marcus is a photographer. He upgrades iPhones every year because camera improvements matter for his work. He bought the iPhone 16 Pro Max expecting meaningful camera upgrades. Apple promised better low-light performance, improved portrait mode, enhanced zoom. He tested it extensively for 2 weeks, compared it to his iPhone 15 Pro Max. The differences were minimal. So small they didn't justify the $1,199 price. He returned it, kept his 15 Pro Max. First time in 7 years he returned an iPhone. The processor is faster on benchmarks. Great. Except nobody notices in actual use. Apps open at the same speed. Games run identically. The battery life is slightly better. Maybe 30 minutes more per day. That's the entire upgrade. Marginally better battery for $1,000 plus. That's not compelling. That's insulting. The overheating disaster nobody expected. Then there's the overheating problem. iPhone 16. Pro models are running significantly hotter than previous generations. Not during extreme use, during normal tasks, scrolling social media, watching videos, Taking photos. The phone gets uncomfortably warm, sometimes too hot to hold comfortably. Tech forums exploded with complaints. Thousands of users reporting the same issue. Phone heating up during basic use. Some units getting hot enough that iOS displays temperature warnings and shuts down features. Apple's response? Software updates that throttle performance to reduce heat. So now users have expensive phones that run slower than advertised to prevent overheating. Jennifer bought an iPhone 16 Pro in September. Within a week, she noticed it getting hot during FaceTime calls. Not warm, actually hot. Hot enough she couldn't hold it against her face comfortably. Works perfectly. First Android phone she's owned in 10 years. Apple lost a loyal customer because they shipped a phone with thermal problems they clearly knew about. The price that makes no sense? Apple raised prices again. iPhone 16 Pro starts at $999. Pro Max at $1,199. For Max, with decent storage, you're paying $1,399. That's laptop money. For a phone that's marginally better than last year's model. With AI features that don't exist yet, and overheating problems. Compare that to the competition. Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus offers similar or better specs for $899. Google Pixel 9 Pro at $999 has better AI features that actually work today, not in 3 months. OnePlus 12 delivers flagship performance for $799. The iPhone 16 Pro at $1,199 is objectively worse value than competitors. Apple is charging premium prices for incremental upgrades, banking on brand loyalty to override rational purchasing decisions. It's working less effectively than before. Price-conscious buyers are noticing, they're comparing specs, reading reviews, realizing they can get equal or better phones for $200 to $400 less. David is a software engineer. He's bought every iPhone since the iPhone 4, paid premium prices happily because iPhones were clearly better than Android alternatives. This year, he looked at the iPhone 16 Pro at $1,199, looked at the Galaxy S24 Plus at $899, compared specs, features, reviews, realized he was paying $300 extra for the Apple logo. Not better hardware, not better features, just the brand. He bought the Samsung, saved $300, has zero regrets. The Apple Intelligence disaster unfolding.
This just in. Apple is being sued for the failed rollout of Apple Intelligence.
December arrives. iOS 18.2 finally brings Apple Intelligence features. Users who kept their iPhone 16es specifically for this update eagerly install it. The experience is massively disappointing. Siri is slightly better but still frustrates users constantly. The AI photo editing is buggy and produces weird results. Message suggestions are generic and unhelpful. None of it feels revolutionary. It barely feels useful. Tech reviewers who waited for Apple Intelligence to fully judge the iPhone 16 are publishing brutal assessments. The Verge says Apple Intelligence doesn't justify the iPhone 16's existence. Wired calls it underwhelming AI that arrived too late. MKBHD's video title is literally iPhone 16, I was wrong to be excited. Users who suffered through months waiting for these features feel cheated. This is what they waited for? This is what Apple spent entire keynote presentations hyping? Basic dev abilities that Google and Samsung implemented better a year ago? The disappointment is crushing. The sales decline. Apple can't hide. Apple's Q4 2024 earnings reveal the damage. iPhone revenue down 8% year over year. First decline in a non-pandemic year since 2019. Wall Street expected growth. Got contraction. The stock dropped 6% in after-hours trading. Analysts started downgrading price targets. Worse, the revenue decline is concentrated in premium models. iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max sales are significantly below projections. People are buying regular iPhone 16 or just keeping their old phones longer. The high-margin premium phones that drive Apple's profitability aren't selling. That's catastrophic for Apple's business model. Tim Cook's explanation on the earnings call was defensive, blamed market conditions and upgrade cycles normalizing. But competitors are growing. Samsung's premium phone sales are up 12%. Google Pixel is up 34%. The market conditions are fine. Apple's product is the problem. The loyalty breaking point. Here's what's really happening. Apple is testing the limits of customer loyalty. For years, they've gotten away with incremental upgrades at premium prices because the iPhone was genuinely the best smartphone. That's no longer clearly true. Android competitors have caught up or surpassed iPhone in many areas. Camera quality is equivalent. Performance is comparable. Software is mature. The differentiators that kept people locked into iPhone are shrinking. iMessage isn't as critical when everyone uses WhatsApp or Telegram. AirDrop is convenient but not essential. FaceTime has cross-platform competitors. The ecosystem lock-in that trapped users is weakening. iPhone 16 is the first time large numbers of longtime iPhone users are genuinely considering switching. Not because Android suddenly got amazing, because iPhone stopped being worth the premium. When you're paying $400 more than competitors for equivalent or worse hardware, eventually loyalty breaks. The brutal reality Apple faces. Apple sold the iPhone 16 on promises they couldn't deliver, charged premium prices for minimal upgrades, shipped phones with overheating problems, delayed key features for months, then delivered AI capabilities that underwhelmed everyone who waited for them. The result is the highest return rates in iPhone history, plummeting customer satisfaction, revenue declines, longtime customers switching to Android for the first time. This isn't a minor stumble. This is Apple breaking trust with customers who've been loyal for over a decade. The iPhone 16 will be remembered as the phone that proved Apple isn't invincible, that customer loyalty has limits, that you can't charge premium prices for mediocre upgrades forever. Apple spent years building a reputation for excellence. The iPhone 16 damaged that reputation significantly, and once trust is broken, it's incredibly difficult to rebuild. Users aren't just disappointed, they regret buying the phone. That's worse than disappointment. Regret means they wish they'd chosen differently, made a different decision. That's the psychological state that breaks brand loyalty permanently. And Apple created it by overpromising, under-delivering, and charging premium prices for the privilege of being disappointed.